Sir, I need to see some ID. You're just standing here in a handicapped space.
I'm waiting on my wife. This is my vehicle and this is my spot. I have a prosthetic leg.
I'll still need that ID.
He doesn't have to prove anything to you. It's all on camera.
Easy.
A black man stands in a handicapped parking space at a Texas superstore while his wife shops inside. He is quiet, though. Calm. A young white police officer walks up to him with his hand already tight on his belt. "You don't look disabled," the officer says. "You don't look like you belong here," a stranger mutters from behind a phone camera. The body cam is rolling. The live stream is rolling, and every word, every breath, every small insult is about to explode across the internet. What the officer does not know is that the man he is humiliating once led Marines through gunfire. What the crowd does not know is that the same man lost part of his leg for this country. And what makes this moment unforgettable is that the officer is about to destroy his own career in front of everyone. Before we go deeper into this story, take 1 second and hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, because stories like this deserve to be remembered. Step away from the vehicle. Marcus Holloway didn't move. He stood beside his dark blue pickup, one hand resting lightly on the tailgate, the other hanging loose. The white paint of the handicap lines glowed under the parking lot lights. His breath was slow, controlled. "I said step away from the truck," Officer Tyler Brent repeated, voice tight, sharp, clipped. Marcus turned his head just enough to meet the officer's eyes. "I'm already away from it," Marcus said softly. The officer's jaw tightened. "Don't get smart with me." Danielle Holloway's voice cut through the air. "He's not being smart. He's being calm." She stood near the store doors, phone raised, camera locked on the officer. Her hands shook, but her voice did not. Officer Brent looked at her, then back at Marcus. "You can put the phone down, ma'am?" "No," Danielle said. "I won't." A small crowd had formed. People with grocery bags. Kids in carts. Someone whispered, "Here we go." Marcus stayed still. "You waiting here for someone?" Brent asked. "My wife," Marcus said. "You been here how long?" "Long enough to breathe." The officer took a step closer. "You're loitering in a handicapped space." Marcus looked down at the blue lines under his boots. "I'm using it." Brent's eyes traveled slowly over Marcus's body. His chest. His arms. His face. His calm. "You don't look disabled." And just like that, the air changed. Marcus Holloway was 42 years old. He wore a faded Marine unit cap that had seen more sun than rain. His gray long-sleeve shirt was clean but worn thin at the elbows. His jeans fit loose around his right leg and tighter around his left. Because his left leg was not real. It was metal and carbon and memory. He had lost it in Afghanistan when a roadside bomb ripped through a convoy he refused to abandon. He dragged 2 men out of fire before the blast took his leg. He never told strangers that. He never needed to. Marcus had learned a long time ago that loud pride made people uncomfortable. Quiet strength made them angry. He had a prosthetic leg that sometimes burned at night. He had scars that never stopped itching. He had dreams that still smelled like dust and blood. But in public he was just another black man in a parking lot. And to Officer Tyler Brent, that was enough. "You got ID?" Brent asked. "For what?" "For being here." Marcus didn't answer right away. Danielle stepped forward. "He doesn't have to show you anything. He hasn't done anything." Brent ignored her. "Sir. ID." Marcus exhaled slowly. "I haven't broken any law." Brent leaned closer. "You refusing to comply?" Marcus looked at him. "I'm refusing to be treated like a problem." A murmur rippled through the crowd. One man whispered, "He's about to get arrested." A woman shook her head. "He's being respectful." Brent's hand tightened on his belt. "You people always think you're above instructions," Brent said. Danielle's eyes widened. "You people?" Brent didn't answer. Marcus kept his voice steady. "I'm reaching for my wallet." Slowly. Brent stiffened. "Don't." "I need my veteran ID." Brent raised his voice. "I said don't move." The crowd went silent. Marcus froze mid-motion, his fingers barely touching his pocket. "Relax," Brent said. "Relax. Why you so tense?" Marcus swallowed. "Because I've seen guns pulled for less." That sentence hit like glass. Brent scoffed. "You playing victim now?" "No," Marcus said. "I'm telling you the truth." A teenager behind the camera whispered, "This is messed up." Brent shook his head. "You know what? Step back." Hands visible. Marcus obeyed. Danielle's voice cracked. "He served this country." Brent looked at her like she had lied. Sure he did. The words were soft, but they were cruel. Marcus closed his eyes for half a second. Not in fear. In patience. He knew this moment. He had lived it before. Different places. Same feeling. The officer saw a threat. The crowd saw entertainment. Danielle saw her husband being reduced. But Marcus saw time. He opened his eyes. "Officer," he said gently, "you're about to make a mistake." Brent laughed once. Sure. You threatening me now?" "No," Marcus said. "I'm warning you." Brent stepped closer. "Last chance. ID." Marcus slowly reached into his wallet. Brent's body tensed. The body cam caught every movement. Marcus pulled out a worn card. He held it up. Brent snatched it from his hand. His eyes dropped to the name. Marcus Holloway. Then the emblem. United States Marine Corps. Purple Heart. Silver Star. Medical discharge. Brent blinked. Once. Then twice. The crowd leaned in. Danielle exhaled. Brent looked up slowly. You're military?" Marcus nodded. "Was." Brent's face changed. Not soft. Not kind. Just uncertain. "You should have said that." Marcus met his eyes. "I shouldn't have to." A black SUV pulled into the lot behind the crowd. Then another. Then another. Men in dark jackets stepped out. One of them walked straight toward Marcus. "Staff Sergeant Holloway?" Marcus turned. "Yes, sir." The man stood tall. "Colonel Raymond Pike, Fort Hood. I've been trying to reach you all week." The crowd gasped. Brent's mouth opened slightly. Colonel Pike shook Marcus's hand. "Your foundation just secured funding for 3 more rehab centers." Marcus nodded. "Good." Brent's face drained. Colonel Pike looked at him. "Is there a problem here, officer?" Brent swallowed. "No, sir." Marcus spoke softly. There was. The crowd was no longer silent. Phones were raised higher. Whispers turned to gasps. Danielle wiped tears from her eyes. Brent stood frozen. Colonel Pike turned to him. "You know who this man is?" Brent shook his head. "He's the reason 5 Marines are alive today," Pike said. "He carried them out himself." Brent's shoulders sank. Marcus didn't smile. He didn't brag. He just stood. Colonel Pike leaned closer to Brent. "And you treated him like he didn't belong." Brent whispered, "I'm sorry." Marcus looked at him. Not angry. Just tired. "Be sorry before the camera," Marcus said. "Not after." Marcus turned away from the officer and looked at Danielle. "Let's go home." Because dignity, he knew, was not about winning. It was about surviving with your soul intact. The parking lot did not sound the same anymore. Where there had been sharp voices and tension, there was now only low murmurs, shaky breaths, and the soft hum of car engines. The crowd no longer looked hungry for drama. They looked embarrassed. They looked awake. Officer Tyler Brent stood like his boots had grown roots. Marcus Holloway did not look back at him. Not yet. Danielle slipped her hand into Marcus's. Her fingers were warm. His were cold. "You okay?" she whispered. Marcus nodded once. "I am now." But the truth was heavier than his words. Because moments like this never ended when the camera stopped. They only changed shape. Across town, across states, across the country, phones buzzed. Texas officer humiliates decorated black Marine in handicap space. Body cam footage sparks outrage. Former Marine questioned for not looking disabled. The live stream clips spread faster than wildfire. Millions watched Marcus stand still. Millions watched Brent's face change. Millions watched the truth walk out of the dark. 2 supervisors arrived within minutes. Sergeant Callum Rhodes was tall, gray-haired, and tired in a way only years could create. He watched the body cam replay silently on a tablet. He did not interrupt. He did not excuse. When the video ended, he looked at Brent. "You're relieved of duty," Rhodes said. Brent's lips parted. "Sir." "Badge," Rhodes repeated. Brent's hand trembled as he unclipped it. The sound of metal hitting plastic was louder than any shout. The crowd did not cheer. They simply watched. Because sometimes karma does not scream. Sometimes it whispers. Rhodes turned to Marcus. "Staff Sergeant Holloway, I apologize." Marcus looked at him. "Apologies don't heal," Marcus said gently. "They only admit." Rhodes nodded. "Then let me admit this. We failed you." Marcus did not respond right away. He looked around the parking lot. At the people. At the phones. At the blue lines on the ground. "I didn't come here to teach anyone," he said. "I came here to wait for my wife." Danielle squeezed his hand. "But somehow," Marcus continued, Waiting as a black man always turns into explaining. The words were simple, but they cut. Brent finally spoke. I didn't know, he said. Marcus turned slowly. That's the problem, Marcus replied. You didn't want to know. Brent swallowed. I grew up being told to trust procedure. Marcus nodded. I grew up being told to survive it. Brent's eyes filled. I'm sorry. Marcus looked at him for a long time. I don't forgive you, Marcus said calmly. But I hope you change. That hurt more than anger. Because anger passes. Truth stays. The next morning, Brent's name was everywhere. So was Marcus's. But the headlines did not call Marcus a victim. They called him a hero. A Marine. A leader. A builder of rehab centers for wounded soldiers. A man who never once raised his voice. Brent's department announced an investigation. Sponsors pulled support. Training groups canceled his speaking events. The same people who once praised his firm control now called it dangerous bias. He lost more than his job. He lost his mask. That night, Marcus sat on the edge of his bed. His prosthetic leg leaned against the wall. Danielle sat beside him. You could have crushed him, she said softly. You didn't. Marcus stared at his hands. I've seen real enemies, he said. I won't become one. Danielle rested her head on his shoulder. You were strong. Marcus shook his head slightly. I was tired. 2 days later, Marcus was invited to speak at a community meeting. He didn't want to go, but he went. The room was full. Black families. White families. Kids. Veterans. Officers. Marcus stood at the podium. He did not raise his voice. I am not special, he said. I just survived. The room was silent. I lost a leg for this country. But some days I still lose respect in parking lots. People look down. I don't want revenge, Marcus continued. I want change. A young black boy in the front row raised his hand. Are you scared? Marcus smiled gently. Yes, he said. But I stand anyway. The boy smiled back. That was the real victory. Brent watched the clip from his small apartment. He saw Marcus speak. He saw the boy smile. He closed his laptop and cried for the first time in years. Not because he was punished, but because he understood. Weeks passed. Marcus returned to his quiet life. The noise faded, but the message stayed. People wrote him letters. Veterans thanked him. Parents showed the video to their kids. Not as a fight, but as a lesson. One evening, Marcus and Danielle walked back to the same store. Same parking lot. Same blue lines. A young officer approached. He stopped a few feet away, removed his hat, and said quietly, Sir, thank you for your service. Marcus nodded. And for the first time, no one questioned his right to stand there. Marcus whispered to Danielle as they walked inside. Sometimes the bravest thing a man can do is stay human in a world that tries to erase him. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel. And tell us in the comments, do you believe respect should be given first or earned later? Because your answer matters. And so does your voice.